everybody, this is Blue. My friend Sabora at Comedic Witchcraft, she did a video about how the Bible is not a historical document. And I love history, and so man, when I had to watch the video, laugh a little bit, and last night at work I was trying to think of all the different ways on how the Bible is not a historical document. So let's get into this wonderful little story here. First thing we have to realize is that the Bible was put together at the Council of Nicaea at 325 Common Era. The council was of bishops, not historians. So we had people that were trying to determine the doctrine of the early Christian church, and that's what the Council of Nicaea was doing. There were so many different small Christian groups, and so many subtle changes and all that. They wanted to get rid of the competition. What that group said about Jesus is different than what this group is saying about Jesus, and so we have to get rid of that group. And so they were trying to consolidate their power by creating this one version of the Bible, because this was their version. And then they actually went to many wars to eliminate these other groups. The first bad thing we have to realize here is that nobody at the Council of Nicaea had first-hand experience with the person or entity known as Jesus fucking Christ. So it's this person said this person. It's hearsay. All right. Now, to be a historic document, it must be accurate in dates, and it is absolutely terrible with dates. People like me have went to many Christians, and we've asked them dates. The Great Flood, nobody can give me a year. I didn't ask for an exact date, I asked for a year. They cannot give it to me. They can just suggest it. There are different groups of Christians that give us different dates. There is no unified date in the Bible. And I have to say this as well. There's one other big problem with using the Bible as a historical document. In the English language alone, there are over 40 different versions of the Bible. Different groups have translated differently or added their own little twists. So you cannot have a unified Bible, and you cannot have a unified history here with the way that the Christian religion is set up. Now, in my days in the Christian chat room, well, I should say religious freedom chat rooms, good old Yahoo chat rooms number 4, yes. Anyway, one of the questions I always like to ask them is, since they proclaim that Jesus is the most well-known person in the history of man, when was Jesus born? They cannot answer it. We have people that will stick towards December 25th. We know that's not possible. There are some people that are saying March, and there are some groups that are saying September. They cannot give an exact date when Jesus, the person that this whole ludicrous book is based off of, they cannot give the day that he was born. And they also cannot give the day that he died. They can't give him a year date of when he died. Okay, so here it is. There's this big violent book based around this one person. We don't know when he was born and died. One of the accounts in the Bible is that when the mighty Jesus was resurrected, that the dead rose up and walked around. I believe it was for 3 days. That would have been a massive historical event. especially since they claim that it happened around the world. But there is no historical evidence of that. There's nobody else around the world going, on this one day the dead walked around. That's not there. So this again shows that the Bible is not a historical document. Um, Now, a lot of people will claim, well, that the Bible is historically accurate because it can give locations. It mentions cities. And somehow, just because it mentions cities, it's a historical document. Well, people need to remember that Stephen King, the great horror writer, has mentioned cities in his books, real cities in his books. So are those historical documents? No, they're not. So just because you name a city does not make you a historical document. And so then we come up across with Moses and the Israelis when they were wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. Now this irks me because it has been proven time and time again that the trek that they took that took 40 years can be done in 6.5 to 7 days. Okay, why did they wander for so long and when somebody could have walked it in a week? So you can say that they were new to this area. They did not know where they were going. Well, shouldn't God helped them out? But he didn't. And then, okay, so they're walking around. They never met another person that knew the local area very well. Okay, because usually when I walk around, I see other people. And so if I am lost and wandering, I'll ask that person, hey, how do I get to the the shelter house or something like that? And so they were wandering around for 40 years and they never met another person. Huh, that's kind of stupid, don't you think? Um, in the creation of the Bible, like I said, it was assembled at the Council of Nicaea. There are a lot of contradictions in it. If you go to evilbible.com, they listed as a total of 542 contradictions. Now, a lot of these contradictions are about such as who begot who is the father of this person or the son of that person. There is even some where it talks about the number of generations between like David and Jesus, and where one Bible verse says one number and another Bible verse says another. I believe they're in that reference that I made. One Bible verse says there was 14 generations between Jesus and David, and another one said that there was 12. Well, is it 14 or 12? Now, if you cannot get this information right, how can we say that it is historically accurate? Someone is wrong. And so they neither did a really piss poor job proofreading or, it's just a whole bunch of bullshit. Another thing that bothers me is the different races around the world. I mean, let's face it, we're not all white. We are white skinned, red skinned, you know, blacks, Asians, and they want to say that all of these different races that are existent today come from the one family of Noah. Now we know for a fact that there has to be a lot of genetic variety. You cannot create a race of people off of 2 to 3 people. All right, you need a lot more people than that. You need to start off with a good number of people, and they're not there. Not if you go by the biblical story. So we could not have a group of Asians from 3 people. Okay, it doesn't work. It is scientifically impossible. It is historically impossible. Now, the last thing I want to go in is the funny part, and that is the good old ark and the animals. You see, they want to say that it's all true, it's the literal truth. I am still kind of curious on how those koalas got all the way from Mount Ararat to Australia. Were they riding in the pouches of the kangaroos? The animal migrations to where these animals are at today is not possible at all. Possums in North America are the only marsupials. Well, how in the heck did they get here? The Bible cannot tell us. Polar bears, okay? Now, they need a special environment, okay? The big error with their ark is that there are so many different climates that need to be made for all these land animals to exist. We're not even going to go into the food here. That it is impossible, because you cannot have in the same wooden structure an area for all the polar animals and then an area for all the desert animals. And so the whole migration of animals from the ark makes the Bible a non-historic document. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to my little rant here. I would like to know some of your favorites, little contradictions, inaccuracies, or just bullhearted statements that you found in the Bible that just don't make any damn sense. So please list your comments below and all that. And everybody, take care. Be at peace.